Okay, hello and good evening, everyone. Happy Solstice. This was a bit of an impromptu gathering I had originally planned for tomorrow night, so I could have done something around the full moon, which, by the way, I'm not sure exactly what time the full moon is, but the energy is big within a couple days before, during, and after the full moon, so we can take the benefits of that as well. Today is the summer solstice. Solstice is the Latin word. It means sun standing still. So this is the day of the year that we have the sun out for the longest. It's the longest day of the year. It is widely celebrated just due to the fact that the sun is a life giver to this planet, right? So ancient civilizations have always celebrated and worshiped the sun because it has provided us and former civilizations with food and just nourishment, animals, all the thing, right? Without the sun, we wouldn't be able to thrive or survive. Now, let me see here. I was thinking about when I think of solstice, I think about Stonehenge, which is in England. I did visit it once. It was in November, so it wasn't near it, either of the solstices, but I just remember learning about it and how they do celebrations there and stuff. And it's essentially what they understand it to be is it was set up to record the movement of the sun throughout the year and stuff, which is really interesting. And another thing I learned there was the actual rock formations are native to Wales. So I have no idea how, with the technology they had back then, it's designed, it was set up in roughly 2500 BC. So this was a long time ago. So to get pieces of rocks or stone moved that far, it blows my mind, and the whole setup is just incredible. Um It's just the solstice is to celebrate the return of the sun. So it's kind of like a buildup over the last 6 months after we've had the winter solstice, which is, of course, the shortest day of the year. It reminds us of the light within us individually and as a collective consciousness. So there's lots of different layers that we can celebrate with the summer solstice, both really kind of tangibly looking out and seeing the sun and being able to enjoy it all day. I don't know if anyone was able to kind of enjoy some nature today, but even after we pop off here, if we still have a little bit of sunlight, enjoy the sunset. And if you have a couple minutes, just go put your feet in the grass or something, right? And just kind of connect with the earth and all that it provides us. And the sun will be roughly kind of the same position for the next couple of days as well. So if you are busy today and you still want to kind of reap the benefits, you can do that within the next couple of days. A few things that it also represents that I wrote here. One, like I was just talking about, like reflecting within and around us, nature. We're celebrating the beauty and the abundance of nature that is given to us by the beauty and the miracle of the sun and what it does for us. We can also reflect on new beginnings. We can do that by looking inward. We can set intentions. This can be kind of we're at like the halfway point essentially of the calendar year, right? So we can look at this as a place to kind of slow down for a moment, look at the last half of the year or the last 6 months, and what have we learned? What events and yeah, circumstances has brought us to where we are now? How have we grown through that time? And what intentions can we set for the next 6 months? What do we want to fulfill? If we've had goals that we've been working towards over the last 6 months, where are we at with those? It's a good check-in point of how far have I come, and What steps do I need to take next to continue on that path towards the goal, towards the desire, whatever you want to fulfill and bring to fruition? It is an energetically charged day. The sun, especially in like astrology, it represents um like it represents our inner self, but it's the sun. It's like it's energy. It projects on things, right? So we want to look at um I mean, we can look at whatever we want, but what is it we can think about like what does it mean to us? And then kind of go from there. It also symbolizes prosperity, extravagance, and good spirits. I feel like I'm continuously choking. Just give me 1 second. I need a drink of water. The other thing that we can do with this opportunity, as much as we want to set intentions for where we want to go next, we can also take an opportunity to quiet and looking at what has led up to this time. What can we let go of? Is there anything that we've been carrying the past few months that maybe does not serve us well in where we want to go next? And when we can reflect on those things, what are some things that we can let go of? And we can do this through cord cutting or other therapy, energetic work, etc. But this is just a really nice opportunity to kind of take a moment, have gratitude and awe in just nature itself and all that it gives to us. And also look inside of ourselves. Where have we been? Where are we now? And where do we want to go over the next 6 months as the light starts to then dim again, right? And this is when we start to, as we move closer to the winter solstice, we start to embrace that shadow, which can be like literal and figurative within ourselves, right? Okay, that's pretty much my notes. The rest of it's just about the summer solstice spread. So what I'll have us do is we're going to take a few deep breaths, as I always do when we do meditations and stuff. We're going to sink back into our bodies, kind of shake off the day if we need to. Notice our shoulders if they feel like they're up high. Do a nice, like, you can roll them if you want. If your mouth is closed, if your tongue's on the roof of your mouth, drop it down and just feel your body relaxing. You can do a little bit of a body scan, either head to toe or toe to head while you're relaxing, but take, let's say, 4 or 5 deep breaths. Biggest thing to remember is exhale longer than your inhale. That gives signals to your body that you're safe, you're comfortable, and your body can start to relax if it's been in a little bit of a stress response or even just low grade. We start to remind ourselves and have a little bit of control over our physiology. This is how we can work with our nervous system. You can inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. If you need like a more like full kind of somatic release, you can exhale through your mouth, whatever feels good. Eyes open, eyes closed. You could put your hand over your heart. I like to do that for a little extra somatic support because you can feel your rib cage, your lungs expanding. You have like more of a connection with your body, especially if things have been a little off kilter lately. And yeah, just take your time. If you need a few more breaths as I kind of go into a bit of a meditation, you can continue doing that and just enjoy, get nice and comfy and relax. All right. Feel your worries floating away, body relaxing. You feel like you've been in your head a lot lately. Just imagine yourself kind of just sinking right back into your body, right into that present moment. Feel free to continue the breathing as long as you need to. Take an inventory of where you're at in your body and in this moment. And with the projection of the sun today, we're going to take an opportunity to let it shine on multiple areas and timelines of our lives. We're going to start by shining the sun's beautiful light on the last 6 months. And we're going to take a look at what we can celebrate from the last 6 months. Just see what comes to your mind when you think of happy times, maybe memories you've created, things you've celebrated, and what has brought you joy. Bring to mind any work that you've done internally as well. And take a moment of absolute full ownership and let yourself just revel in pride for yourself, especially if it was difficult to do and you've come through it. Give yourself a hug or give yourself a squeeze of some sort, acknowledging where you've been and how any love and grace and compassion you've given to yourself throughout the last 6 months, how it's brought you to where you are today, stronger, healthier in mind, body, and spirit, and happier, more joy. Just take a couple moments just to sit in the joy and the gratitude of the last 6 months. See what comes up for you and just sit in those feelings and enjoy them. And just remember that these feelings of joy and gratitude and unconditional love, especially if you feel it built up and vibrating through your body and you feel excited, just remember that that is an embodiment of the full expression of who you are as a soul. And it's something to remember because sometimes we get lost in life, but the light always is within us. And it's important to acknowledge those things and sometimes bring it back up to the surface, shine the light on it, and allow our inner light to shine outward as well. And when that feels complete, we're going to shine a light now on the difficult parts of the road of the last 6 months. And we're going to allow enough space between ourselves as if we are observing it from a distance and just observing it as is. And there can be certain things that there will still be emotions attached to, but as much as we can, try to just look at it as if you are watching it as a movie, just observing it. And see how far you've come with those things too. Especially if it was really difficult. And take a moment. If you haven't already through the journey, sometimes, it feels like we are trudging through the mud and we're more surviving. If you can take a moment as we're shining the light on this, knowing what you know now, ask your higher self, your soul, what some of the nuggets were. How have those experiences helped you to grow and to brighten that inner light? And if you didn't have an opportunity through the experience, take time now and give yourself and that version of you a nice big hug. And any words of encouragement or wisdom that you needed at the time that maybe you didn't receive. Just spend a couple moments doing that, looking back, giving yourself that support, that comfort. And imagine as you're reflecting on this and throughout this meditation, the rays and the warmth of sunshine hitting your face. And knowing that through anything that life brings us and we have to work through, there's always light. There will always be light again. Sometimes we have to dig deep to find it, but it's always there. And when that feels complete, we're going to move and shine that light on us in the present. Just take a moment to observe, get curious, take a bit of an inventory on how you're feeling right now. Maybe you need to take a big sigh of relief. Maybe you're feeling calm, hopeful, excited. See how you're feeling in this moment before we move forward. And again, just take a moment to feel that pride for yourself, for getting yourself right here, right now. And now we're going to turn a little bit, and the light's going to shine on the path ahead of us. You could imagine yourself turning. You could turn physically a little bit if you want, whatever that looks or feels like intuitively. And this beautiful solstice sunlight is going to shine on where we want to go next. And first, we're going to observe and see what comes to us. Ask yourself, what do I desire to move towards in the coming months? Where's my soul pulling me? And see what answers you get. And next, I want you to ask yourself, is there anything that I've carried through from my past into this moment that will hold me back from where I need to go now or make it more difficult to get there? See if anything comes up. And at this time, we're going to take a few moments. We're going to do a little cord cutting. Keep those things in mind that you think or you know have been holding you back or making it harder to navigate the path that your soul is pulling you towards. I'm going to share some words that, a bit of a mantra, I guess, that my mentor, Carrie Lynn Shallhorn, says. You can fill in the blank. You'll understand when I say it. And I'll do some as I'm prompted and guided as well. So the mantra is, I now release the cords of attachment between myself and blank, and transmute it back to love. So I'll repeat this for you. And while I'm saying these words and you're repeating them either in your head or out loud if you want, imagine, if you have the clairvoyance, that inner seeing, imagine an actual cord between yourself. It could be any part of your body. It's interesting how intuitively you can pick up where it's from. So for example, if this was something that, say, maybe had to do with grief or a matter of the heart, you might intuitively see that cord coming out of your heart. Or if it's more for your personal power and wanting to stand in your truth, it could come from kind of your belly area, just below your rib cage, which is the solar plexus chakra. Or if it's about things that you've been wanting to say and speak your truth, the cord could be coming out of your throat chakra, which represents communication and speaking your truth. So notice where the cords are coming from. And as you're cutting the cords, imagine yourself cutting it in any way that you have to. It could be a pair of scissors. It could be a, man, it could be a chainsaw if you need it. If it feels like a big cord that's been building up and needs to be released, however that looks to you, to sever that attachment between yourself and whatever you're looking at. And then imagine it dissipating and transmuting back to love in whatever way that looks to you. Maybe it's a color, maybe it's a cloud. However that looks, turning that thing, that person, whatever it might be, transmuting it to love. We're releasing our attachment, sending it on our way, and we're wishing it the best. So we'll go through a few of these. I'll say kind of what comes to mind. You can go along with it or see what comes up for you intuitively. I now release the attachment, the cords and attachments between myself and self-doubt. And I transmute it back to love. I now cut the cords of attachment between myself and not feeling enough. And I transmute it back to love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and fear of failure. And I transmute it back to love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and the fear of trying new things. And I transmute it back to love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and feeling unsafe to make decisions. And I transmute it back to love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and being untrustworthy of the opportunities the universe has for me. And I transmute it back to love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and being afraid to surrender to what is meant for my highest good and most amount of healing. And I transmute them back to love. And I'll give you a couple moments to work through any additional ones that are coming up for you on your own time. And then we'll go to the next step. So just take a couple moments here. Release anything else that's coming up for you. And when you feel like you've released the rest of what needs to be released this evening, just shaking it off a little bit. Notice how you feel in your body. How does your soul feel? Does it feel lighter? Like you've released some of what does no longer serves you? And having let those things go, we're going to turn or pivot, turn our face towards the sun even more. And this time, the beautiful sun is going to shine a light more fully on the path of the next 6 months and where we would like to go with our desires, our hopes, our dreams. And let it be a reminder that as much as we can make up the ending or the route, it rarely goes as planned. So over the next 6 months and then further out into the future, but we'll talk about the next 6 for now. Remember that along this road, to give yourself grace, to surrender when things aren't going just how we think they should, and to get curious that when things seem to be going in a different direction, consider that perhaps a new path or a different route might just be magical beyond your own imagination. And that if you stuck to the path you think it should be, it wouldn't give you the magic of surrendering and being curious and adventurous to where life can take you. Be willing to go on the ride. See the things ahead of you coming into fruition. See the things in the present moment that are coming into fruition because of the steps you've taken over the last 6 months, right? It's like when we think of farming and working with the land, we plant the seeds sometimes in the fall, sometimes in the spring. And there's that quiet period. And then there's also the period where we have to nurture what we're bringing to life And then we start to see it come to life. So notice the things that are coming to life. And ask yourself as we wind down, when you're thinking about what's next and where you want to go next, what is one small step you can take in the next few days, or right now if you want, that will move you towards fulfilling that desire, bringing that dream to fruition. And feel free to take conscious pause regularly. Check in with yourself. Where am I on this journey? What have I brought to life so far? And where is my soul pulling me to go next to fulfill the next steps towards what I feel pulled to do and bring to life? And when you feel like you need to rest, rest. Sometimes those are the actions, is non-action. Sometimes it's when we're in a winter season, we go underground a little bit, that the inspiration is given room and an opportunity to come to the surface, to then give you the ideas to action towards. And when you're ready, you can feel free to start coming back to the present. Maybe you want to wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit, move your shoulders a little bit, maybe roll them, go up and down. And then when you're ready to come back to the present moment, you can open your eyes and join us again. Wonderful. I can't decide if I want to record the cards or just do it together. Record it? Okay. So what I have here is I did look this up. I looked up, I kind of like did a Google search and I found one that I thought was really cool. So essentially it is a 6-card spread and each card has a different intention. So oftentimes when I do card readings for others, I have an intention for each card. And I trust before I start that the card that while I'm shuffling either falls out of the deck or flips over is meant to give the message of the intention. And I lay it out. I usually say it out loud. So I would, if it's for myself, I call in my own team, ancestors, my spirit team, loved ones who have passed, and I ask for their support, that they help to present the guidance, the wisdom through the deck of cards. And I say them in order. The first card will be for this, the second card will be for this, and so on. Like I'm having a conversation. And then as the cards fall out or flip over, I lay them out and then I reflect back. So the first card and the first intention here is soul, like S-O-L, like the solstice, the sun. And the wisdom here is where or what opportunities are bright right now. So what are we in abundance of? And then the next one is sister, where to stand still and reflect. The third one is shadow, what needs to be illuminated. Got my first one. Actually, there's 2 there. The fourth one is sunbeam, advice for the situation. Number 5 is cultivate, what to grow for the rest of summer. And number 6 is shine, opportunities to shine this summer. So I had 2 kind of fall out. see what else we get here. I used to just, sometimes I would lay the cards out and I spread and pick them, but for a long time now, I just shuffle till they either fall out or flip over. Oops, that's way too many. Okay, I need 4 more. Sometimes it feels like it takes forever. Okay, 1, 2. 2 more. I'm excited. I think I've pulled cards from this deck once. Oops, number 5. I really haven't worked with them much. Okay, 1 more. We're looking for shine, opportunities to shine this summer. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay, so the first card for what opportunities are bright right now, it says, lay it on the altar. And it says, hand it over, soften, surrender, and forgive. It is talking about opportunities. I'm not going to read the full thing because it would take a while for me to do all 6, but the end of the message is usually kind of what's the word? Like condenses it. It says, lay your worries, concerns, and struggles onto the Great Mother's stone altar and stay open to being supported. This card urges you to welcome support from those around you, to soften your heart, and to forgive. You don't need to know how to do it. A willingness is enough. Offer compassion and mercy toward yourself and those around you. You don't need to carry it all. You can call upon the support of those in both the seen and unseen realms. Remember that we're always doing the best we can, and that every moment of every day we can lay our worries on the Great Mother's altar. We don't need to go through it alone. The soul inquiry in these cards, essentially, they can be journaling prompts if you want to do further reflection, or you could use them as a bit of like a mantra. These ones say, how can you soften your heart? And what are you carrying that's getting too heavy to carry alone? And already I feel a synchronicity between what the meditation that we just did and the message of this card. The opportunity that's bright right now is being mindful in surrendering and allowing support in ways that might not seem obvious. I think that's beautiful. Number 2 is the Sistere, where to stand still and reflect. The card is alignment. And it says it's coming together, precision. Whew, I just got goosebumps. Let's see here. Alignment. Your dreams, ideas, and visions are coming together. Your time has come. Congruence and alignment are here. Make the most of this moment. Celebrate and claim your space. Precision and attention to detail have manifest into the physical. It's time to take a step back. Whew, and see what you've created and appreciate the transformation that's occurred. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Let the harvest be here. And the ancient stones activation, so the mantra would be, I embrace all that I've created. I welcome flow, success, and ease. Stand still and reflect was the card. Stand back and see how the alignment has been coming together over the past months. Yeah, that one gave me goosebumps. The next one is shadow. What needs to be illuminated? Ooh. The healing stones. The message here is tenderness, care, gentleness, and nourishment. And the message says, The healing stone card is, of course, the healing card of this deck. Maybe you're in the process of healing something physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. This card appears for the reader as a sign that deep rest and healing are in progress. It comes with an invitation to say yes to your healing and to trust the process. It's also a message for you to prioritize your body, mind, and soul above all else, to treat yourself with tender care, to replenish, to nourish, to go gently. How can you slow down your pace to that of the stones? How can you prioritize your mind, body, and soul? And the activation message here is, I choose to go gently and treat my body, mind, and soul with tender care. So what needs to be illuminated? Care, self-care in all levels of our being. Number 4, advice for the situation. So I guess situation just the next 6 months is kind of the intention. Stepping stones. It says, take the next step, simplicity and focus. Oh my gosh, this is wild. I love when the cards just absolutely reflect work that I've just done or messages I've given intuitively. By the way, that meditation, I had no idea where I was going before. I had a couple ideas, but I led, and that's why sometimes there were bigger pauses, because I was just like, where am I going next? And then the information would just come in and I would spit it out. Okay, so the stepping stones card for advice for the next 6 months. This card wants you to know that there are times for great planning and times to proceed ahead. This is the latter, a time of choosing the right next step over procrastination, of forward movement over strategy. So put one foot in front of the other and trust that when time comes to take another step, you'll know just what to do. So taking that quiet, sometimes the best step is no step. Sometimes we need that replenishment that it was just talking about that needs to be illuminated. Number 5 is cultivate. So what to grow for the rest of the summer. And the card is the Guardian Stone. It says awakening, progress, and initiation. Oh, and I flipped right to it. This card appears when you're on a great soul transformation, when your awakening journey is going both high and deep. One thing is for sure, you're changing, transforming, remembering, and becoming all that your soul dreamed of. The awakening process is never straightforward and easy, but from the perspective of the soul, it's the greatest triumph and satisfaction there is. Progress is happening. Initiation is in process. You're doing it, and you're closer than you think. The activation message is, I say yes to the deepest and highest journey of my soul. I say yes to the transformation and call upon the ancient ones who never forgot to walk beside me every step of the way. So what to grow for the rest of the summer? Grow in soul growth. Move forward in your transformation. And number 6 is shine. Opportunities to shine this summer. It is the Hag Stone. The Hag Stone is known as a stone of protection. I know that about it. Let's see here. The Hag Stone card is one of protection. It appears because you already are protected in your life, or it's a call to take a moment to look at the ways you may be leaking energy or are the target of negative energy. This card isn't one to be afraid of, though instead, see it as a message from the stones to look at your foundations and tighten up any ways you may be leaving yourself exposed, so you can feel strong and secure as you go about your life. The activation message is, I call upon the Hagstone to protect me from any harsh energies that may be directed at me. Shield and protect me morning, noon, and night. I am protected. I'm strong. I am safe. Opportunities to shine this summer with protection. I guess what I feel from that is being mindful what is not ours, emotions, um, especially if we tend to pick up on other people and what they're feeling and what they're carrying. When we can protect ourselves and have a deep knowledge and embodiment of what is ours, we can build on that and shine brighter. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. I hope everyone enjoyed that and we can have a little chit chat now. For those listening to the replay, I hope there was a little nugget in there for you. You can take time to reflect and feel free to message me or share in the comments. I'd love to know what you took away from this. All right. Thank you, everyone.